Welcome to Culture Alchemy, where we do a deep dive into film, TV, music, and the stories and trends lighting up the group chat. We'll discuss what it means, why it matters, and how it shapes us. I'm Antoinette.
And I'm Andrew. Each week we've got pop culture's hottest takes served fresh. We're turning pop culture into pure gold. This is Culture Alchemy.
Hey! Oh, Andrew. We got another hot one today.
We definitely do. I'm excited to talk about the Love is Blind reunion with you.
So am I. I'm actually more excited to talk to you, to hear your take on this, than I was actually watching it.
Okay.
So
I don't know. I feel like I'm excited to see what you thought about this whole season and the reunion as well. Yes, do you want to get into it?
yeah, let's do it. Okay. So season 9, we are we outside? Are we on a soundstage? I'm not sure what was happening.
Yeah, it looked good. I think the set looked good. I like the intro. I like that band that they had play
Miles Smith.
Miles Smith. Yeah, that was a good song. That's definitely a banger. But then they lost me shortly after that. And I feel like I hate watched the rest of the reunion as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very vocal about my feelings on this season and in this reunion, and nobody ended up together this season.
Not one couple.
No one couple.
Yeah. Still think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that's the first of all these seasons. This is the 9th season, and yeah. How did you feel about the reunion?
So overall, I thought it was underwhelming.
Okay.
I kind of knew going into it, there were a couple of things that were going to come out. We saw some trailers drop. So we knew there was going to be some Casey, Joe, Madison sort of storyline. I was also privy to the fact that Megan had a kid.
And it wasn't Jordan. That was a bombshell to start at the reunion. Yeah.
Yeah. We did start with Megan and Jordan. She told us about baby Brooks, her new man. And it seems like they seem amicable.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Which makes sense to me. They seemed amicable throughout most of the journey. Like they were reasonable on how they seemed to work out conflict.
It seemed like they had the most conversations about like deep conversations throughout the whole season, other as opposed to the other couples. I thought they were connecting on a deeper level for the most part, and I thought they were going to make it in the end. But yeah, they I guess different lifestyles. That was a part of it apparently. She lives a different lifestyle than he does. Also, she didn't like, I think, how much he was joking, when they got to Mexico, when they were all drinking at the resort. Speaking of joking, what is with Jordan laughing through the whole reunion? Like he kept saying, "I have ADHD." Like what was that? I didn't understand that. Yeah.
I don't really know, but it could be that he's someone who laughs when he's awkward.
Okay, maybe that was it. Yeah.
I sense that. Like maybe humor might be like a defense mechanism for him. So he was sat on the far end of the sofa next to Joe.
Yeah.
And him and Joe are buds. And Joe's kind of in the hot seat. And then Casey's behind him catching strays. So he's probably just in this like awkward triangle where all he can do, and he probably knows more than he's letting on too.
He probably knows.
Trust and belief.
Yeah.
He knows way more than he's like.
Because Joe and Jordan are bros, and they definitely had some inside jokes, I'm sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
definitely. So I think he was trying to hold it down, and he had some I don't know, some leakage.
The other big question
Kind
I
of,
had for you is, okay, this season of Love of Blind was an air ball, all right? It wasn't a slam dunk by any means. And talking about that, what was with the ring? Like for the first, I think for the
yeah,
first 15 minutes of the reunion, that was the most cringy segment about them going back and forth about who should have the ring in the first place. And then they brought out Chris Paul, the NBA player, to do this impromptu basketball,
yeah.
slam dunk competition, which was so cringy. What was that?
It was insanely cringy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just seemed like look over here, look over here. The misdirect. It was actually so bad that it was hilarious.
Yeah, and then they kept saying this same joke over and over again. Whoever gets the most dunks on that wins the ring. I was like, oh yeah, but you already said he's gonna get the ring. Then he gave it back to Casey too in the end. Just like, what
In
was
the
the
end,
point of that
yeah,
whole thing? Even though you lost that impromptu basketball game, that was so yeah,
that's that's what I thought was sort of odd.
yeah.
In the end, you just gave her the ring anyway, dude.
Anyways, yeah, you didn't need to have that whole competition. I didn't understand that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was nuts.
that was
I
wild.
was
Yeah.
to me, it was like the showbiz equivalent of like putting a toddler in like a spandex outfit and like too much makeup, and then having them go out there and tap dance.
Yeah,
It just
right.
felt very much like, what are you doing? It just, I don't know. It was hilarious, but for the wrong reasons. Yeah, the ring. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you bring up the ring, Drew,
Yes.
because one of my questions for you was, what were your thoughts on that? Should she have kept the ring?
That's a great question. I didn't know that also Netflix provides the rings. So they didn't even pay for their own rings, right? Um,
I don't believe so.
no, so that's what I learned during the reunion. I thought that they had to pay for their own rings or some kind of like, payment plan, you know, for for something
Yeah.
like that. But no, Netflix provides the rings, so that's very interesting to me. And um I thought that she should have gave back the ring. Yeah, I really did. That was my opinion, just because after what, she kind of like it was so awkward when she was breaking up with him, she decided not to go to Mexico with him. She didn't have the feelings that he had, and she broke up with him. And I just felt like why would she hold on to the ring? I think she
Mhm.
should have just gave it back to him in the first place. Yeah, that was just. I mean, yes, he did give it to her initially, but I think that was under a different circumstance. And for them to break up like that, I just thought maybe he should have the ring. Yeah, that was just my opinion. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think she should have given back the ring immediately
Yeah, yeah,
because, to your point, it was given to her under a totally different pretense.
yeah, exactly.
Like she dangled some sort of reconciliation in his face,
It,
and she clearly was never going to speak to him again. It was just very obvious.
she did dangle that in front of his face. Like
Yeah,
he was of the opinion that they were going to have a talk after this, and they were going to
right,
live on things. No, there was no talk whatsoever. They never even talked on the phone afterwards.
right.
Yeah,
So to me, I think it was a bad look and very déclassé. Like, I don't think she should have even debated it. She should have just given the
yeah,
ring back. But I also did find it interesting that we did hear about the Netflix tea. I kind of assumed the guys didn't pay for the ring, but kind of like assumed that maybe they had some say in just picking it out. Like they had a case full of rings
yeah.
and they picked out the one that they felt maybe was the most like their fiance, you know? That might have been the assumption I had just because I'm like, you don't really know this brush.
Right? Exactly. Like, and then at one point, Vanessa said, "Or should it go back? Should the ring go back to the producer who picked it?" Or something like that. She said something. Oh, should
Yeah.
it go back to the? So I think it was the producer, from that comment who maybe picked the
Yeah.
ring and gave it to him, and like, this is the ring he proposed. Like that takes out so much out of the thought out of it too, and like you're not even investing anything into this purchase also, you
Oh,
know?
right. Right. And neither party is. So to keep the ring,
Yeah.
which I can understand if you kept the ring, like you said, under different circumstances, maybe it made sense. Or if they had been married for a minute and maybe, in divorce, people take the ring and they repurpose it into like some other type of jewelry. If there was that understanding, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this didn't make any sense to me why it was even an issue in the first place. But I have heard that the guys are able to provide a little bit of a top up to the ring.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure what the ring value is, but let's say I'll just be conservative. Let's say the ring is like 10 G's. And the guy's like, no, no, no. I want the best for my insert the woman's name here.
Okay.
And he could go and say, you know what? Let me top it up with an extra 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever. I've heard they can do that. So I think when Ali was talking to Anton, I thought it was interesting. They actually spoke about the ring
Oh, they did. Okay.
at some point. I think they were outside, like after their sleigh ride, and they were talking near a fire. And I remember her asking about the ring and him saying some kind of figure that he felt was appropriate to spend on a ring. And she immediately was like, yeah, no, as if like add about 15,000 more to that.
Oh, yeah, I do and no, I do remember that conversation, and obviously, they had their issues, and her sister was it her sister? Or who had problem with Anton, and,
Hmm.
different lifestyles for sure, he worked the night shift. I think his drinking, was an issue, as well as, he liked going to strip clubs too. That was brought up then.
Yeah.
He likes his strip clubs. Okay. And also maybe it was the the kissing with the eyes open. That was another thing too. Like
Yeah.
kissing with your eyes open, that uh, I don't that's a red flag.
Is it really?
Not a red flag. I'm not saying a red flag. I should say that. What I mean is like I don't love the kissing with the eyes. Just saying. Yeah, I feel like that's relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever. No, that's not true. I've definitely seen it. It's pretty jarring,
Yeah, I think it's a
but
bit
I'm not, my eyes aren't open to know their eyes are open, though, I guess.
off-putting.
So,
I feel like. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so which is worse? The kissing with the eyes open or the flip flops?
Oh, the flip flops too. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
Dakota
no
Johnson
jury for her.
The actress, Dakota Johnson said recently, "If you see someone wearing flip-flops, run." Okay. That's her red flag. That's her big red flag. Men in flip-flops, she runs from them. All right. So, maybe it's a divisive, maybe it's dividing the internet. Is that a red flag? Is that not cute? I don't wear flip flops. I have to be on a beach, and that's the only time I'm wearing flip flops. But yeah, she did not like that he wore flip flops as well. That was a hard note for her. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hard no. I'm not really like specifically against it, but I think, yeah, we're in the tropics if we're wearing those
Yeah,
or we're on
exactly.
a beach. You know what I mean? I think just like sporting that is your everyday attire, or I don't know, maybe we're in a a different locale, I think.
Yeah.
I think I get where she's coming from with that. But I want to stick with Ali and Anton for just a second
Yeah.
because, yeah, they had a really interesting reunion segment because I know a lot of people really liked these two
Yeah.
uh, during the show. A lot of people shipped this one. Um, I wasn't so much on board, but I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And it wasn't the drinking. I sort of understood that was a problem for her, and I respect that. But what I thought was really interesting
Huh.
was that these two probably had really great conversation in the pods. And when they met, I think they just didn't really have much, from what I saw, anyways, a lot of substance. Like, he
Yeah.
was into her, but he
The att
loved the idea of her.
the attraction was there, for
Yes,
sure,
the
and
idea of her.
it seemed things changed once they got out of the pods. You know,
Yeah.
the actual day-to-day, their lifestyles and, the communication as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a big one. And she brought up the fact that she didn't feel like they were really not having much conversation at all,
Uh-huh.
which was something I picked up on when I was watching them. I kind of thought, what are these two talking about? Like, I just don't really see much. I see a little bit of the playful teasing and stuff. I see conversations about what they both want, but I actually don't see a lot there because
Oh, wow.
he's describing somebody that sounds like a trad wife. And then she's saying she wants to be that, but it's not giving that. It's giving she wants a man who's going to keep her. She wants to be a kept woman.
Yeah.
That's what it's giving. So they naturally were going to have a hard time because he wants someone who's going to stay home and cook and clean. And I think one of Ali's finest moments was when she sat there on the sofa without a hint of irony, looked at him deadpan when he came home and saw that the house was in disarray. She hadn't cooked or cleaned anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is this your normal routine?" And she just looked at him and was like, "Yeah, damn straight it is.
Oh, wow.
And you better make sure that you make enough money as well to support me while I'm in school, while I'm, working on my come up, and that I can continue to get my Botox." So I don't know what he was thinking,
Yeah.
other than he was not using the head on his shoulders. And he was hoping that the idea of her would play out differently in the real world.
Mhm.
And she just had a different expectation as well.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think she knew early on she was going to say no. Like, I think it served her purpose for her. Yeah. I think she doesn't really come out uh, in any way really with a loss because I think she pretty much said very clearly what she was looking for, was very boundaried,
Mhm.
was fairly respectful in how she went about her actions with him. So she didn't promise him something that she couldn't deliver. So I think she comes out looking much better than he does based on what I saw in the edit.
Yeah, and also her sister's, influence too. You know, she, didn't like that he goes to strip clubs as well and lives a different lifestyle, that type of lifestyle, and, yeah, it seems like she had different expectations as well. But yeah, they have moved on, since the pod. She's
Yeah.
in another relationship she was very private about, didn't say anything about. And then he, has moved on, with someone who is shown in the audience as well. So she was there at the reunion and, yeah, it seems like, they're in better relationships outside the pod. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they both found, maybe what they're looking for. And so the whole experience maybe wasn't a wash for them. They were able to kind of clarify what they needed and wanted. And also, let's be clear, you go on a show like this, you're gonna have people sliding into DMs. So
Yes.
I think a lot of these people go on the show thinking, if I meet somebody, great.
Yep.
You know, but that might be a secondary um goal. It's just going on, and for many, maybe getting that chance to date, the exposure also opens up more opportunities as well too.
That social clout, yeah. So it's either that or potentially becoming more, famous and people slide into your DMs for sure, I'm sure after the show, like you said. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, without question, without question. And we talked with Anton, talked about Ali and Casey and Patrick, talked with Megan and Jordan. So we did see Joe and Madison as well.
That took up a lot of the reunion, that whole,
Yeah,
a lot of Joe on this reunion. Okay.
yeah.
Everybody loves Joe. All right. Not only does he have a bromance, with Jordan, he's also he's been hooking up with other cast members apparently. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's been serial dating.
Yeah, so we learned a lot about like in the pod that when they started off, well, and then they met uh Joe and Allie, and and then the physical was off for him too, because he had that, different reaction to her, that kind of nervous reaction. He later admitted that she's not his physical type typically, but there was an attraction there, and still, and or maybe it could grow. And they definitely did, explore the physical connection during the season, and it seemed like they were hitting it off in that way too. But then we had when we went to Mexico, and he got real, yeah, a bit too much tequila in Mexico. It got very messy in Mexico, and then I'm not even sure if it was just alcohol or what it was, but, like, he was really out of it, and that caused a lot of problems, in their relationship too, and, yeah, and then it did not go well from there either. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of fighting.
I didn't.
A lot of fighting and hooking up, that's what he said, and so many other ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's well said. I mean, one thing about Joe that I will give him credit for is that he's like a consistent creep.
Yeah, right.
You know, like he's not a fair weather creep. He's consistent,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even when he's explaining those things in such blunt and direct terms, I'm always reminded of his profile and his God fearing ways. And I think there's something refreshing about somebody who's like, yeah, there was an energy. We fought, and you know,
We hooked
it's
up
like
a
he
lot.
understood.
And s
Yeah, he understood the dynamic, and I think what I saw was and God bless her, because I actually really do like medicine. She seems cool, man,
yeah,
and
she seems genuine. She does, yeah.
yeah, totally, and I
Yeah.
and I feel for her because the last time we did speak, you pointed out, Drew, that you thought that maybe Joe was having some reservations about hooking up with somebody who's going to eventually go blind.
Yeah, I thought um, when she told him that, which is very personal to her, obviously, I just thought his reaction was a bit, could have been nervousness again, or I just thought it was a bit off, how he reacted. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I see that now, like in hindsight a bit, that perhaps he was maybe making a total sort of calculation,
Yeah.
like this is not really there, and then that might also be something that I have to take on later that I'm not prepared for. And then, okay, she's cool, but not really my person. So, like, he just wasn't into her. And
Yeah. I think
I
from the get-go, he
think,
wasn't into her.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was trying to convince himself a bit and go along to get along. It was probably swept up in the energy and the vibes, and like Jordan and him were going to have a great time. And smash in Mexico.
And
Who
have some
knows?
drinks
Like,
and have all the tequila in Mexico, exactly. I think it was just kinda
totally.
going along for the ride, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. And then I think the reality and the gravity of his situation
Mhm.
just like smacked him in the face when he got to the tux fitting, because I could feel like just his anxiety. He's like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
It was just obvious. But anyway, so yeah, Joe, he's consistent. Like, I actually find it interesting too, his little web with him, Kate, who did show up later on as well too, Madison, and then now his now girlfriend, who are all friends.
Yeah.
It's
That
like, what's going on there? Uh, what has he got going on that
and then the
I'm not
thing with
understanding?
him and Casey too, right? There was that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
With that kid, that came at a, left field. Apparently, they started dating afterwards, and they were
yeah,
at a Love Is Blind party too, and, like a pool party or something like that, and, so they had a relationship as well, like a mini relationship, and, so that's interesting to me. Yeah, that's pretty I guess, a lot of them, like, after too, not only, they hook up with other cast members too, because they have parties afterwards and they all get together
oh
and
yeah.
yeah, it sounds like, yeah, love is messy, right? Love is messy
That was
for this
messy.
cast.
Denver must be
Y
desperate times. I mean, we could complain about the place we're dating,
yeah.
but no, no, I'll just Denver. I don't know what's going on there. It seems bleak. It's just he's just cleaning up there. He's dating. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand. Um, but I think one thing that I didn't see in this like sort of mess of, I don't know, like dating web, Anna and Patrick.
Yeah, why
I
wasn't
I
Hannah ever mentioned during the reunion? That was my
oh
question
I
too.
I was so hoping that they were gonna have an update that Patrick and Anna were able to maybe go out and explore the
Yeah,
connection.
that's what I was hoping for. No updates whatsoever, not only from
Oh,
this cast really as far as, Anna and Patrick maybe potentially meeting up but sometimes, during previous reunions, they bring in, like, previous, successful couples for an update. They didn't do
yeah,
that this reunion either,
yeah,
which I was kinda disappointed by as well. I guess that
yeah.
basketball segment took up, a huge part of the reunion. Maybe
It's
that's why.
totally.
Yeah.
We could have flown out Lauren and Cameron, who refused to deal with us. By the way, have disowned the show.
Ye
But I'm surprised, yeah, that they just couldn't. Maybe they squeezed all that juice out of lemons the previous,
yeah, maybe that's it.
season. Yeah, they didn't really have much going on here. So as I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, well, what else do we want to talk about here? We had okay, we had Nick, Kate, and Annie. What did you think about that? Any did you have any thoughts on that?
I yeah, that triangle was also I never got into that triangle. I mean, Nick, Kate, Annie. Um, I I guess they brought back Kate because, yeah, she was part of that triangle.
Yeah.
Nick, a lot of the cast did not like Nick. They admitted on the reunion. I think he was just doing his own thing, he said on the show. I didn't know what to make of Nick either, but, like, Kate said that he was kinda scripted. He was, like, almost like he asked ChatGPT for, like, what are what are the perfect way to kinda get a girl to fall in love with you type of thing. Because
Yeah.
he was telling, both Kate and, sorry, what's Kate and what's the
Annie?
yeah, yeah, he was telling them the same things basically, and, yeah, I mean, I didn't see them ending up together anyways, either of them, but, yeah, he was I mean, hopefully he learns from this, I guess, but, Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, guess we will. For some reason, I do feel like Nick can be redeemed. I feel like,
I think his heart was in the right place. I think he's gonna learn from this experience. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm not sure why per se, but I do sense that too, that this will be a positive experience for him overall, that he'll learn from this. And hopefully the fact that he was able to, they kind of felt accountability on air for uh, at least what, um, I guess whatever actions he made that made his dates feel disrespected or sort of like they were just sort of a number. They weren't really seen for who they were. Because that's what I was hearing was the problem.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like they felt gaslit because he was using the same lines. There was
Okay.
no personalization. So that would be hurtful to see that, I think, played back. And so I give him some credit for showing up and
Sure. Yeah.
having the conversation with them. Yeah. But I like Kate a lot. This is a good look for her on this too. Like she definitely stood on business and was kind of open at the same time to having the conversation. So totally reasonable. Yeah. Okay. Now I am not leaving these two out. I saved them. Maybe not necessarily for last. A couple things I wanted to ask before we wrap up here, but I would be remiss
Yes.
if I did not visit our friends, KB and Edmund. What did you think about these two?
Yeah. So I said on a previous episode that they were my favorite couple of the show. Um. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack with KB and Edmund. Um. Apparently, producers faced a lot of criticism this season for people online are thought that they are exploiting Edmund for his issues and his trauma, and this season will add to his trauma as well. And just kind of like putting him in the cast because they wanted to exploit, his he does have, a history of issues and trauma. And I thought he handled himself well on the reunion, but during the season, like he did have like a bunch of almost like that one episode where he basically had a temper tantrum, when he learned that he was the only one who wasn't, having sex with their partner, and 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 she wanted to wait till marriage, or I think that's what she said, and he had a full temper tantrum about that, and it sounded like he didn't like to deal with any type of conflict or trauma, and that was a big problem in the relationship where it ended up not working out. But yeah, Edmund was, I mean, I loved his energy in the pods, and he was definitely comic relief. And also, there were some parts which were a bit, concerning, his reactions to things and how he would handle certain conversations. And I think that was a big roadblock for them. They couldn't have the conversations. He would just like, she said that he was very dismissive during the reading too. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay. When you say that he had his moments that were concerning,
Yeah.
yeah, what stands out for you?
Um, just like the crying, the, repeated crying, and, just like not even communicating, just going back to "I love you," I I love you, and we'll get through this. And then just kind of like almost getting angry too, as well. I think different mixed emotions, and he wasn't really dealing with, or communicating. It was just kind of like, just like she said, being dismissive to it. Yeah,
Yeah. There's so much to unpack, like you said, when
yeah,
it comes to Edmund. And I do think that there's some validity to the people that are pointing their fingers squarely at the producers,
For yeah,
asking
putting
for
in a
explanation
cast.
and psychological tests.
Yeah.
Like they clearly knew that he was going to be a mess. And now here's something else I want to throw out here. Apparently, there was an incentive for both these two, Edmund and KB,
Wow.
to stay on the show. I that's the word on the street.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not. Allegedly, and this would make sense because KB kept saying to Edmund that, or at least alluding to the fact that you're acting differently when the cameras are on.
Yes. She did mention that repeatedly. Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say about KB is that she's a very smart woman.
Very smart.
She understands that she's on a TV show that's going to construct a narrative. And she understands that she's a Black woman on a TV show that's going to construct a narrative. And so whenever I watch her, I always observe, well, one, she's a great communicator. That's obvious.
Very great communicator. Yeah.
Yes.
She handled herself really well on
Yeah, she really did. Uh, she really did because we were seeing snippets of what she was living with 24/7.
Yeah.
So, her social work background, she was putting it to great use. I think she was probably reaching real deep, just to be able to like
Handle.
keep her composure.
Yeah, handle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Anton is a lot. Anton is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she couldn't really fly off the handle as he did, because I think as a Black woman, and she said this on the reunion,
Yeah.
that she recognized that she was going to become the angry Black woman. And it's very, very true, right? So this is a definite thing that we hear echoed by a lot of people on these shows.
Okay.
We heard it as well on Love is Blind when Alandria and Shelley were on their reunion and they talked about this, the disproportionate hatred that they got online from people because as a Black woman, if you are not calm all the time, it reads different. People read it much more aggressively. So you do have to be kind of aware of, yeah, how you present. It's unfortunate, but I think she was hyper aware of it
Yeah.
to bring it back to KB. And every time she was in a scene with Edmund, and she did sometimes lose her shit, but she would always go, "Oh, okay. The next time I'm talking to him, I'm gonna make sure that America knows the context behind which I flipped.
Yeah.
It's because this thing happened, Edmund, right? When we were off camera. She was very smart
She had
to make
receipts.
sure,
She had the receipts on
big
her
time,
ingredient. Yeah.
big time, Rolodex,
Yeah.
index, ready to go,
Yeah.
itemized by date. That's a real player move. She knew what was going to happen there. So good for her. Um, and yeah, she was very classy, I think, in how
Yeah, she
she
handled
managed
herself
that.
really well. I think she was, yeah, one of the best in the cast as far as handling Anton and what she went through, and like obviously it didn't work out, but in the end too, I liked that moment when they did hug each other. There's,
Yeah,
it sounds like they're just gonna be friends, and it was no hard feelings after this, which is
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
which I think is great. And earlier you mentioned as well that Edmund obviously had some trauma, and that maybe being on this show may cause him more.
yeah.
Right? That could be the fear. One thing I'm hoping, and because I saw him recently talking on a podcast, I can't remember the podcast, it was with two bros, and they were asking him about this, like how he's been feeling since he's been out,
Oh,
seeing the social media discourse around him. And when I heard him speaking on the podcast, I was really struck by just how level headed he was, how self aware he
yeah.
was, how mellow he was. And he has a good sense of awareness as to how he was perceived, to how he behaved in the pods. And he also mentioned that this was also going to help him to see the feedback, like, to help to grow as a person.
Oh, that's
So I
great.
think, yeah, hopefully some good will come of that as well, too. And somebody will see him and will love his energy and what he brings and will find him really attractive, maybe, So he could be another one where someone could slide in the DMs. You never know. And you'd be surprised. I don't know. I think that
Yeah, he
probably
has a
somebody out
perfect
there who
match out there for sure. Sounds like he really has a heart of gold, and sounds like you said, he's grown from this experience, and yeah, I'm glad that he kind of learned from this experience. But it's also like a heightened, extreme sort of like experiment, and I think that could bring a lot of like heightened feelings out of you, extreme feelings, and I think that's part of the reason why he would have his meltdowns, too. That's not easy to deal with, but yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It would be a difficult thing to do. And, you mentioned that's a really heightened experience. And certainly that's part of the reason why I think some people have their their tantrums and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't want to like pick on Edmund, and I certainly don't want to like stay on KB and Edmund too much longer than we need to, but I'm fascinated by this couple a little bit.
Yeah.
So I actually want to ask a couple more questions as well,
Yeah.
because I'm really interested also in a male take on this. Eh, So I know a lot of people were talking about the tantrum that you mentioned
Yeah.
over the nookie,
Yeah.
right? So okay, so he was upset that she wouldn't sleep with him, and I think in part because he realized that the other men on the trip had been intimate with their partners,
Yeah.
right? So
That's
obviously the tantrum and the tears and whatnot, I don't think there are many people out there who have read that in any other way other than like red flag.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But how, for you in that situation, okay, how do you think you would have responded if you were in Edmund's situation? And how do you think you would have responded if you were in KB's situation?
I that's a great question. Yeah, I was thinking about that episode too about yeah, so she said she wanted to wait to have sex, and then he got, had that temper tantrum when he found out that he was only one not uh um having sex with his partner when they're in Mexico. And I didn't like that. I mean, you shouldn't put pressure on your partner, to do that. So I didn't like that he had that reaction for sure. Um, but also I thought watching that too, because she had explained that, she had those hookups too in the past as well, right? And they didn't mean anything to her. Uh, so I when she said that, I was thinking maybe she's not physically into Anton. Maybe that's a part of it as well, not just wanting to wait, but I feel like maybe that is a part of it, that she just wasn't physically into him, or maybe she saw these kind of red flags and didn't want to go there because she was still trying to feel him out and feel this whole experience as well. So I didn't love his reaction for sure, but also I understood that from his side, you have hooked up with people, and then it didn't mean anything in that situation. So why aren't we going there right now? Like, I do understand what he's saying to that, even though he did it in an extreme way for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think that a part of it was she was not as attracted. I don't think she was as attracted to him, or wanted to, not there emotionally, because of certain things that had happened in the past as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
I think she would have definitely slept with him if he were more her physical type.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, yeah.
I do. And I also agree with you too that I think the tantrum is like a completely uncalled for.
Yeah, that is
It actually just
gross, yeah.
it just dry.
Yeah,
Like,
it's gross, yeah. It's
if it
definitely
makes
gross, yeah.
so I we can't do that. But I am so also feel that well, there's 2 things can be true. One, it wasn't really about the nookie, okay? He did it for in part, I think probably felt rejected
Reject. Yeah.
and
Okay. Yeah.
was feeling like, "Oh, why are you not into me?" It was probably that reassurance that he needed,
Oh, yeah. That's
right? That
fair. Yeah.
an ego thing as well too. It's like, "Wait a minute, so I'm the only one? Why?" Because if he had not known that, he may not have been as upset, and so I think it made him think, "Oh, on top of that, so you're very casual about sex, but now I'm gonna marry you and you won't do it." So, not excusing,
Totally. Yeah.
like, how you behaved,
Yeah.
but I understand why he had that reaction based on what I know of Edmund and, like, probably how he was feeling in that moment was like, "Oh, maybe I'm being rejected," right? And so
And I'm the only
that
one that's being rejected, so that's why
yeah,
he went to that. Yeah, he took it that
right?
way. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, so I can understand that.
Yeah.
And then I also feel as if I mean, let's be so for real. You're gonna get married to somebody and not be intimate. That could be for some people, I don't know. I mean, that could be a big time deal breaker if you find out that we're not compatible, right? So there can also
Exactly.
be
Yeah.
that logical.
Yeah. Bef and you're gonna get married too very shortly as well, so, yeah, I mean, that could be it. That's an issue as well if you know, you haven't explored that part of the
That connection.
relationship. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, that could be it too.
Yeah,
Not excusing his
definitely
tantrum.
not. That was very
It
yeah.
was very, very, very cringe. But I can get into his headspace a little bit there and understand, like, yeah, that he's probably feeling a little hurt and like a little self-conscious from the jump because he clearly perceived in his mind, she's way out of my league from the start,
Okay, yeah.
right? And even at the reunion, I felt that. I felt like he was like, but look at her. Like,
He said, he's like, I could never get a woman like this if it wasn't for Love Is Blind." That's what he did say on the
correct.
reunion. Yeah,
And hearing me, like me hearing him say that, mm,
yeah.
like I felt a little bit like, oh, okay, I understand why you're on opposite sofas.
His
That and many other
insecurities,
reasons.
yeah, his insecurities showed a lot, during this season for sure. Yeah, especially
Yeah,
his
yeah,
reactions. Yeah.
for sure. You know,
Uh,
um, but okay, I wanted to kind of end by giving the producers of Love Is Blind a little bit of help here. We're gonna do them a solid here,
okay.
and we're gonna just whiteboard this next season for them because they clearly need some help. Uh, whatever they're doing, they need to stop it. But what is the answer here? So let's talk us out, Drew. The producers are listening here. Season 10. We want to see love. I think. I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see relationships that may actually have a shot, right? So, what do you think the producers need to do to fix whatever is ailing this show right now?
Yeah, this is the worst season of Love's Blind, and I looked online, a lot of people are saying it too. I mean, like we said, nobody stayed together. That's a first. I don't know what the ratings are like.
Mm.
I don't know how they've gone down from season to season, but I think everybody should be fired. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone connected to this season should be fired immediately. Okay. We need to start from scratch, you know, throw it the
Yeah.
whole concept. At this point, Love Is Blind is making like ultimatum look classy and like healthy relationships. Okay. Like we need to revamp it. As far as a new, there needs to be some type of new concept, I feel like. Um, s- I'd have to think about that one. Yeah, there needs to be a new
Yeah.
concept. They have to. um, be very more like definitely more selective. You know, it seems like now they're just focusing. It seems like they lost the plot, to be honest. They lost the plot. They're all about who is going to potentially cause drama, you know, on the show, and people are going to pay it. People are going to tune in anyway, and they don't care, you know, if they end up falling in love or not. I think all they care about is like, is there going to be drama this season? You know, people are going to tune in anyway. Who cares? I think they lost the plot, and I think they need to, yeah, start fresh with a complete new, maybe concept. I think they should just maybe throw out the show after this. But apparently, season 10 has been renewed, and it could be in early 2025. There could be a new season of Love Is Blind. I just think they need to go back to the drawing board and really focus on, you know, people that want to find love and are not just about the social clout, you know, and not just
Yeah.
about the drama. And yeah, maybe it's like more about doing something like putting them through actual like real tests, you know, the next cast, like real, like intense tests, then seeing who ends up together based on that.
Oh, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Like intense, like, you know, personality tests, like, I don't know what's out there, but like every facet of their life, you know, and then basically putting them in the house, maybe just putting them in Mexico or like some resort, and just getting rid of the pods and just seeing if they actually connect who they're most compatible with. I don't know, or something like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of like Love Island, but in Mexico.
Yeah, a bit of a bit different, but I don't know. Apparently, the pods aren't working out or something because it's got real messy. You know, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think they need to really do some serious like personality tests before they get in the even in the pods, and I think they need to. That's one area they need to prove on. And yeah,
Yeah, I did definitely agree they need to do something different. I think you're right that there's a big problem right now because everybody coming on here is obviously chasing clout.
yeah,
And I would like to see them, the producers that are, I would like to see them look at people who don't have massive followings.
yeah,
So they need to cast normies.
yeah.
So I want them to go and like find people at like the local strip mall in, you know, some small town in North Carolina or something. Like, I don't want them to go and find conventionally attractive people who are influencers,
That's another
Instagram
thing.
models.
They need to be not conventionally attractive people. They need to be just like normal people, you know, just trying to find love and, you know, not all about their phone either. I think they should actually throw out their phone. Right before
Yeah.
yeah, like take the phone completely away from the experiment as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So like the first half of the experiment, they don't have their phones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's once they get to the real world, then they get their phones back. And that usually is a big test. And that
That's a
usually does
big problem.
apply
Yeah, yeah.
pressure for sure. So that would be interesting. Maybe if they extended the time
Yeah.
that they were just like hanging out in Mexico or something, to see if they could work more on the connection, who they'd gravitate towards. And yeah, I think let's cast people that are not necessarily coming for the exposure. In although you can't really know, you kind of know if they have um, a heavy presence right now already in certain industries that they don't need this show,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it would be interesting to see that if they did that, if they just went and cast a bunch of people from like random, scouting in America. And if they did do some sort of testing, I like that idea, Drew. I think what I would like to see is let's get like maybe a counselor or something on the show,
Yeah, bring in a counselor or something.
right? And then they have to go to counseling or something
That would be
during
good,
the show,
actually. Yeah, that could be a good element. You're right. Yeah.
right? And then we get to see the sessions and the conversations around compatibility. So they're building the chemistry when they're, at the resort or whatever. But then the actual, maybe it happens when they go back home. I don't know. Or maybe it's while they're in Mexico. I don't know. But there's a counselor there. They're having sessions. They're talking. We're hearing about some of the lifestyle things they're going to have to deal with and how they're going to deal with conflict. And there may be people that might say, you know what? Yeah, I think we gave this a good run, but let's just call it now. Or some people who might actually be better equipped to actually get married
Yeah.
or date if they have a better sense of how the relationship's going to work because they've had some couples counseling. And so that could be interesting.
And maybe older too as well.
Yeah.
Maybe some of these
Yeah.
casts have been pretty young too, when you think about it.
Yeah.
And they're in a different mindset too at that point as well. I think maybe
Yeah.
they should go a bit older next season too.
Totally. That's been the success of, in my mind, the UK.
Yeah.
And because they were older,
They're a bit older, yeah.
so they had a better sense of what they were looking for, a little bit more established. They weren't necessarily in their butt sniffing stage.
Yeah.
So it's like they had a bit more at stake.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, we just did it. I think we just did it.
I
It
think we
fits the
just
show.
solved Love is Blind. All right. Right now it's
We
Love is Messy. And I think they need to rechange the title of the show to Love is Messy because that's what it is. But if they
Yeah.
make these changes, then it will be actually Love is Blind. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did it. we we came with some ideas. Hopefully the producers, if you're watching this, feel free. We will volunteer these ideas.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to us or want us to consult on the next show, I mean, I can't speak for Drew, but certainly I'd be happy to talk to you.
I'm down. I'm down. I can be the advisor on the next season of Love is Blind.
Absolutely. So I'll be spiritual advisor. Amazing. So, Alchemists, we hope you enjoyed the show, and you let us know what changes would you make to Love is Blind season 10. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
But before you go, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on Instagram at culture_alchemy. We want to keep the conversation going.
Yes, we do. Until next time, Alchemists.
Take care.